Hi and welcome back. So we're going to continue where we left off and continue populating our scene. And the way I'm approaching this is kind of, you've all seen speed painters on YouTube, and they fast forward the videos and talk over them. So I'm going to do a bit of that. So this is speed painting in 3D, if you like. It seems to be the best way to do it because these things can take such a long time. There's nothing worse than sitting there for hours watching somebody else do the work. So I'm going to speed things up, try and structure it in an interesting way, and hopefully you can follow on, and I'd be interested to hear your comments on that. So let's get started. Let's get some of these trees. Let's go for a big tree. How big is that? Oh, that looks pretty big. So I'm going to put this one. If you look at our concept, there's some big ones back here. Look. So I'm going to put some of these back here. See how they work out. They've got little tops on. We're not worried about the canopies at this stage. Push them into the ground a little bit. And don't be afraid to actually float them up and work on your terrain a little bit more. Whoops! Yeah, you can watch that opacity. Terrain kind of naturally rises around trees because of the roots. It kind of pulls the earth up towards it almost, because so much underneath it, and so it's quite nice to have a bit of a bulge at the bottom of the trees. I mean, if you're using Unity's standard tree painting thing, then which we may do that for, for the big areas out here, we may do that, paint some in to save a bit of time. But when you're putting down sort of key trees, and you're building a scene, it's not very nice to use that. And I think Unity's even got a tree making tool, but the trees are kind of they're just not great trees, to be honest. Well, I don't think they are. I mean, feel free to use them. Right, let's copy that. Let's just copy that and paste it. So we've got another one. There we go. And when you copy an object in and you paste it, it copies everything in the inspector onto the new tree, so it ends up in the same place, the same size, everything. And don't be afraid to sort of just tilt these trees, give them a bit of character. There we go, let's have a look at that, see what that looks like. Yeah, you can see that's going to work. So, trees behind the hut. Yeah, they could probably do with being a bit fatter. But we're getting there. Right, so okay, so what I'd like you to do as you're doing this is open up a notepad, whatever you're using. If you're using an iMac, it probably has the equivalent. I don't know, because I'm doing everything on a PC, and the PC has what we call a notepad. So, and start making notes about any changes you want to make. Like, I'm going to raise the roof on this hut, maybe a meter, about a meter, maybe. I still think it's too low, and once we walk in there and we stand, I think it's going to feel really claustrophobic. So I'm going to make a note here. Raise roof on hut. So that's my first note. And you just do this, keep just making notes. as you build. And like these trees here, I think I want to make them fatter because I'm looking at this concept and they're quite hefty trees. It's nice to have some big heavy ones, not quite as big as these main ones, but some bigger ones. So my next note is going to be fatten out big trees. I don't know what that means. And just keep doing that. And if you're working on several scenes, you might want to make a note of it saying forest hut, something like that, as a just as a reminder of what these changes are for. That's it. And just keep doing it. Just keep going. And you can see by doing this, it does take time. And I know painting them with Unity's tree thing is a lot quicker and a lot faster, but you kind of lose the artistic element to it. So it's up to you. It's however you want to approach it, what's good for your project. Very strange. These white trees. You can go in and change the colour of them if you find that too creepy and too weird. But it's gonna work. It's fine. Yeah, that's about right. So if we go up here and look, yeah. And if we look at our concept. Yeah, so we've got some that are falling over, got some on the ground, perhaps back there, bushes. So it's going to be hard to get in behind there to see those rocks anyway, so you probably don't want to go too crazy with the rocks. But just enough so you can see that there's a border back there, the edge of your world. Our path is going to go up here, it's going to go along there. So there's some trees here that are coming out of the sort of hill near our sort of bowl. So we're gonna place some of these down and see what that looks like. So what does this give us? Once we've done this, it gives us a load of stuff. It gives us sort of our scene basically. It says, this is how I want my scene to be. This is how it's going to be in the final, this is the layout, this is how it's going to be. All you have to do from this point, once you've got it all done, it's kind of just copying, really. It's like, okay, I've got to, and from a scheduling point of view as well, you can easily lay out the workload that's got to be done, and a manager or producer can go, oh, that's a lot of work, there's a lot of tree. He could just calculate really quickly how much work is involved in creating a really top-end, high-quality scene, basically, just by looking at your box map. And you should be able to plot this out in a day easily, as well as from an artistic point of view to see whether it's going to work. So from an artistic point of view, we can see whether this is going to work, and I think it's going to. It's looking pretty cool. One thing I might consider is doing some really big sort of cliff rocks. These are quite small, a lot smaller than I thought they were going to be compared to these trees. So these trees kind of dwarf the rocks really. We want them quite. I think we want them quite big. So get our notepad out. Big border rocks. You know, we probably want them twice as big as we've done there. Twice as big. Minimum. Let's put ×3 height. That will remind us that we. So look at our concept. So I might place this other barrels because our path goes between the barrel and the steps. I need more trees here. Okay, let's just do that then. Let's copy this barrel over. And all I'm doing is pressing Control C and then Control V, and that sort of copies and pastes just like it does in every other package pretty much. F to focus there. Let's put down some of these. Let's put these in place and see how we get on with these. Oh, they're going to work really well, I think. And so the idea with these is that they're going to be steps. You know, when we texture them, we'll blend in some moss and some. They won't be quite as square as that. They'll be nice. They'll be smooth rocks. Just put some logs down there. Look at that, that's cool. Nice little detail. What I might do is, before we finish on this, I'll switch out the sky because that's just not nice, not giving you the right impression. We'll put a bit of fogging in, just in our white box, because it's really quick and easy to do. We'll put some boxes under here. Okay, that's one thing we need to add to our list, so let's just do that. We won't create white boxes, but we need to add it to our asset list. Add hut stone props asset list. You know, we'll never, if we don't make notes and keep track of the things we want to do, we'll never remember. So that's why we do it. Yes, it's very clear that that is a path up through there. That looks really good. Okay, that's going to work really well. This path is going to go down over there to the cave in the corner over there. Okay, let's keep going. Put some more of these flagstones down. Yes, I'm going to put a tree in here because I think it would look really cool. So let's just copy this tree here. Oops, didn't copy it. That did. Great thing about trees, you can just copy them. And you know, doing this, you've got complete control of how you want and where you want your trees to be. None of this random stuff. None of this just paint random places. You lose the craft a little bit. Yes, see, you know, I wanted a tree right there, and now I've got one right there. Who's to say if we painted trees, it would go and just spatter them all around, and you probably get some on your path, and it just wouldn't work for me. I like doing this. Just paint it up a little bit. Bulge it at the base of the tree so that it feels like there's some roots underneath it. Push it down around away from the tree. You get a real sense that it's actually growing out of the ground, which is really cool. It needs smoothing out a bit there. There's a bit of a spike. So it does things like that, which is just really odd. You get your smooth tool out and just smooth it around. There you go, that's better. Nice. Can't wait to paint this. Actually, we're gonna apply two or three texture layers to this terrain, and then we're gonna sort of paint the paths in and the grass. You know, forest floor. It's gonna look really cool. See, I'm being very picky about these where these trees are going, because you know, it is about art, and it is look how weird that is, and it's, you know, you want to get a really good composition, make sure the trees are doing their job. Yep. Okay, so that's it for that lecture for now. Again, it got quite long, so I had to cut it a bit short. But in the next lecture, we're going to start adding some lights, putting in some fog, and sort of try and dress it up a little bit very quickly, just to get a sense of the atmosphere and the area as a whole. So that's what we're going to do. So I'll see you in the next lecture.